Okay, here we are. Alt.nerd.obsessive. Worst episode ever.
Hey everybody, welcome to Worst Episode Ever, a podcast for people who love The Simpsons, by people who love The Simpsons, about how much we hate The Simpsons. We are here trying to find which is the worst episode ever. And as always, my name is Dan.
And as always, my name is Jack.
And today we are looking at an episode from season 26, originally aired January of 2015. That was not that long ago,
No,
Jack.
it wasn't.
And this episode is called The Musk Who Fell to Earth. Have you seen this one, Jack?
No, I haven't. I've seen The Man Who Fell to Earth, starring David Bowie.
I've actually never seen The Man Who Fell to Earth.
Weird movie.
That's what I've heard. And I think this is a weird episode. So we'll see. We're going to find out. We're going to watch it. We got a guest coming on. But first, I want to thank the people who suggested this episode. Pretty heavily suggested. We have George Martin Fell Brown.
Thank you,
Lynn
GM
Sokolow.
F. Thank you, LS.
Christoph Pakula.
Thank you, CP.
It was a K.
Thank you, CK.
And Arjun Chadha has suggested this episode.
I'm not even going to try.
Thanks, AC.
Thanks, guy. Thank you, friend.
So yeah, this is an episode with Elon Musk is the guest star. I'm sure.
He's playing himself.
He is. Yeah, he plays
right.
himself. So I'm sure we'll talk about him. We have a guest who's an expert on Elon Musk because he read the book about Elon Musk.
Oh, you read the book? Oh, he's not here yet.
He's not here yet.
Okay. I want to talk about that because I actually want there's a biography about him that is really well, and our guest will talk about it.
Right.
But I really wanted to read that book before we did this episode.
All right, let's in the break. We're both going to read the book.
But it's actually next to my queue, so I really waited to the if we had just waited 2 more weeks to
you would have gotten there.
I'm going to do the audible book.
Right.
Because I can't read.
Now, does Elon Musk read the book? That would be interesting.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I doubt it, though.
And I also want to point out that this episode was written by Neil Campbell. Jack, do you know who Neil Campbell is?
I'm assuming he's from the soup magnet family.
From the soup magnet family. He created Soup, but he's also the showrunner on Comedy Bang Bang.
Oh, okay.
And I'm a big fan of Neil Campbell, and the off chance that he's listening to this.
You're talking the showrunner, the TV show, not the radio show.
The TV show, yes.
Yeah, because I love the TV show.
Yeah.
I've listened to maybe 5 minutes of the podcast.
He is a frequent...
I hate podcasts.
Yeah, I don't really care for podcasts.
Let me just put these things in my ears and listen to some people talk.
Do I wonder what these 2 morons think about The Simpsons?
I only got 70 or so years on Earth. This is a great way to spend my time rather than, going outside. I guess you could listen to podcasts outside.
You can't record them outside. We're in a dungeon right now. And
I would prefer you not call my living room a dungeon.
Well, it's very warm. There's no sunlight.
I do have a rack, but...
Yeah. We're all in the Iron Maiden right now.
We use it for the sex.
Yes, it's a sex rack. We'll talk about Neil Campbell in this episode later, but we're going to take a break and watch this episode, The Musk Who Fell to Earth, Season 26. If you haven't watched it, you can do so on Simpsons World, simpsonsworld.com in the U.S., and possibly still on Hulu. I don't really know. Or you can get it wherever you normally get episodes. But, guys...
The back of a truck.
The back of the truck, they fall off sometimes. It's just like, you want that Season 26 episode? The one about the Musk? I got it. Fell off the truck. That's what they say.
A very good interpretation of what that
would be like.
Taut joke was.
And if you like the show, believe it or not, some people like the show. You want to support the show, go to weepodcast.com. That's weepodcast.com. Click through our Amazon links. We get a small cut. That helps keep the show free.
Yeah.
And
leave some iTunes reviews too. There's been some like the iTunes reviews are funnier than our show sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
And our Reddit has been growing, getting steady. I've been noticing the threads have been getting fatter.
Worst episode ever.
So join us in there. It's a comment section, but also just a conversation. A lot of just mocking me and you in there. Of course. But, that's
we mock each other also. But if you're not a Reddit user, you can still read it, even though it's called Reddit. People are frightened off of Reddit.
I was never into Reddit. I always thought the interface was kind of, I don't know.
You have to get used to it. It's not intuitive.
Not user-friendly,
Yeah.
But obviously I started doing it for the show a couple of months ago. Yeah. You warm up to it pretty quickly.
I think we broke a lot of Reddit cherries with our subreddit. So check it out, r/worst episode ever. And we're going to take a break. We're going to bring out a guest. And then we're going to talk about this episode.
Yay.
Sir, this is Elon Musk. For some reason, he's sharing a console with Homer Simpson.
His mind is as rich as an Italian wedding soup. Homo, what are you thinking now?
Pittsburgh 35, Dallas 31.
Pittsburgh Steel, Dallas Cowboys, robotic cattle herding. Thank you, Homer.
So that was the Musk Who Fell to Earth.
It sure was, Jack. It sure was.
Yeah, it also fell to expectations.
It fell flat?
It fell flat. That's a much better way.
Well, we'll
the
see.
episode that fell flat to earth.
We will discuss it.
Yeah, but before we do, let's introduce our guest, Dr. Mike Genereux. How's it going, Mike?
Hi, Jack. Hi, Dan.
Hello, Mike.
Mike is a long time friend of ours, a
Yes.
much longer friend of yours, Dan.
Mike is my oldest friend.
There you go. In that he's 118 years old.
My hips hurt a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. And I'm wrong. I thought that you read the book about Elon Musk, and you had not.
That is true. I had to
We
correct
thought
you
we
guys.
actually had an Elon Musk expert.
Yeah, instead we just have a doctor,
Yeah, that's
an actual
kinda
medical
bad.
doctor. So there
Yes.
you go. So in case someone gets hurt while listening to this podcast,
Which does happen.
Which happens.
I mean, it's a shame Bryce died that last time.
Well, sorry, Bryce.
People keep clamoring for him to be back on, but we killed him.
we need a witch doctor to bring
We
Bryce
shouldn't
back.
sit our guest in all the cables and then give them a big tall glass of water.
Yeah,
I can no longer help him. He will be missed.
he will be missed.
Welcome to We Studios. Mike, you were on one of our earliest 90s percentile episodes.
That's true.
This is your first foray into We.
I was.
And you were a core member of our Simpsons trivia team back in the day, so you know
Yeah.
your Simpsons.
I wouldn't say I was core. You guys answered more questions than I did.
I certainly didn't.
There were definitely times where you came in the clutch and you're like, I just watched this one. It's nature's goodness.
So Mike didn't read the book. You read
No.
a book about Tesla, and not even the car Tesla.
The man Tesla, who inspired Musk in his
Right,
way.
sure.
They're both big
pays
weirdos.
homage. He pays homage to him with his company.
Well, Tesla was played by David Bowie in The Prestige. We get
All
a
right,
David
so-
Bowie homage in this episode. There's a connection.
So people who say We Studios doesn't bring in the top caliber guests, I think somebody who
Yeah.
read Tesla.
Here he
perfect.
is. Yep, we got him. Much
think
better than Harry last time.
Now, I really do wish I'm going to read the book soon, but Elon Musk is just like a fascinating guy. He's pretty
He
much
is.
the closest we have to a real life Tony Stark.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
He's a billionaire. He made most of PayPal. Was that the big thing?
That was
he
his
made most of
biggest thing.
money?
It was him and Peter Thiel, right? Were the two PayPal guys, I think.
Did he create PayPal, or he just kind of
they
took it
both-
as part of his company?
I'm almost positive he was one of the creators of PayPal.
Okay.
Okay, so, anyway, he's a tech startup. He made that money, and
Yep.
then he used that money to now he's into all these
parlayed
moonshot
it.
type things that
Yeah.
luckily for him and
Yeah.
for us seem to have been working and haven't bankrupted him.
Yeah.
but it's really cool. I mean, I would like to be a billionaire, but
I would also like to be a
but
billionaire.
there's
It's
lots
on my
of-
to-do list.
but-
So click through that
And-
We Podcast
and
Amazon
if I
link.
was a billionaire, I think I'd like to be in that vein where you're just like doing really cool shit with your money and not just buying islands and stuff, which I'm sure he's
Right.
also doing.
Yeah. Well, it's like Bill Gates too. He's still the richest
Yeah.
man in the world, and almost all of his money is going
going away.
towards
Right.
yeah, like he's giving it away for
And-
Africa research and things like that.
Yeah, and he's not doing anything less than Elon Musk, but it's less fun to talk
He's-
about.
I feel like
because,
he does less flashy things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's less, like what he's doing with combating malaria is incredible and amazing.
exactly.
But like spaceships and self-driving cars are just way cooler
right.
than saving innocent
Oh,
African
it's not
children.
cool to save the children, Jack? Is that what you're telling me? You'd rather go to space?
It's a well-known fact around these parts that I hate seeing children suffer. I'd rather just see them die right away so
Right.
that they don't have to suffer.
There you go.
You're in the other cave. You want to
I
stretch
want
it
long
out.
suffering.
You,
That's what
you want those reverse mosquito nets where
Yeah,
they're just
we're
trapped.
we trap them with mosquitoes and say, now what are you going to do?
Mike's staying quiet because he
Yeah,
took the Hippocratic Oath.
I am learning so much about you guys right now.
Yeah, well, we're very dark people. All right, so anyway, that's Mike.
Yeah, that's Mike. That's Elon Musk. Very, very interesting, cool guy doing great things. And by the way, if you don't know who he is, and this episode didn't do the best job,
No, not at all.
Well,
you get the idea that he's an idea man and he puts money.
Right.
But for instance, some big things connected to him just happened this month. Really, the 3 came
The
out.
Tesla
What was
3.
it? Was it?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Tesla 3, the
Yeah.
more affordable electric car,
Yeah.
electric car
Yeah.
for everyone.
Apparently,
pretty
this
much.
is the car he's always wanted to put out, but he put out the expensive prototypes first to
Yeah.
fund the mass
right, you
production
got to
of
get
this.
the ball rolling.
Have you seen Teslas though? Have you actually seen like the
I
Model
love
S?
the
Not in
windshield.
person. I've seen like
Oh,
videos
they
of them.
drive so many out by me, and
Really?
they are such a nice car. I desperately want one. So
Okay.
Elon Musk, if you're listening, I would like a Tesla S.
We would all like a Tesla.
We hated this. I hated this episode, but give us a car.
Yeah, give us a car.
Let's pander to Elon Musk.
I love
This
the
is a
winch-
great episode, by the way. I love Elon Musk in it.
I love that it looks like a future car. It looks like cars from the 1990s that when they did movies that took place 20 years in the future,
Right.
that actually looks kind of like them.
Yeah.
I love
It
the
does.
windshield that goes all the way back. And
There's no engine to it. The front is completely empty.
There's
and
like no
everything.
angles. It's all
Yeah.
It's all
curved.
And the handles appear when you come up to the car.
It's very
that's
sexy.
very cool.
Oh, it's so cool.
You want to have
it's
sex
very-
with it.
It has David
Oh,
Hasselhoff.
I just
not
like the
David
car. I
Hasselhoff.
wanna drive the
Sex
car.
with the car. I want to have sex with that car.
Mr. Feeney, the actor that plays him, William something,
Are
right?
you talking about Knight Rider? Kid?
Yeah.
Why are
We're
we
talking about Feeney.
He should.
Mr. Feeney was his character on Boy Meets World. He's William Daniels.
William
I think is
Daniels.
his
He
name.
did the voice of Kit. Before he dies, he should record a shit ton of like GPS directions and stuff, and they should make him the
Yeah.
voice of Tesla.
They should.
How cool would that be?
I think it would be
can't-
awesome.
I can't let you do that, Jack.
And then instead of Knight Industries 2000, it could be KI Tesla something. I don't know.
2000.
2000.
Kit with an extra T.
Yeah, just add a T.
So you might have noticed I've been trying to avoid doing the plot recap of this episode because I don't know if
It's a
I
little
can.
tough.
I'd like to see you try. I
know.
mean, that's going to be quite the task.
We have a lot to say about this episode in terms of what it did well or okay and what it did poorly. But I would say it really had no fucking plot. It was all over the place.
It was, yeah.
It's about as
basically-
unfocused as Elon Musk, who puts his energies into spaceships. By the way, that was the other thing I was going to say. Not just
Yeah.
the Model 3. The spaceship landed on the drone this week.
Yeah,
he
I saw that.
finally got the self-driving rocket to land on a drone ship.
Was it a rocket or a missile? I thought it was a missile that they could like kind of land back down on a platform.
Yeah, a rocket missile,
okay.
same thing.
I'm not totally up to speed on this,
It's-
but you saying he
it's a
landed a
real-
rocket on a drone ship makes me think of like a Super Mario Brothers 3 type thing, where he's got like a warship that's like
No,
traveling.
it's actually more
with
like
cannons.
it's more like Super Mario Galaxy, where you're hopping
Okay.
from place to place. No, it's a
That I
reusable
get.
rocket, and it's only reusable if it comes back to Earth in one piece. And they have it
Oh, okay.
land on these
Platforms, really much.
self-driving
Yeah.
platforms. Yeah, so it's all
Platforms are more like Mega Man. Okay, we're mixing up the metaphor here.
and then a
Mega
giant gorilla rolls it down a ramp.
Okay, now I'm back on board. All
And then
right.
you get the star, and this music comes on, and you just
And then
destroy
Kubrick goes.
things.
Yeah, no, but it's failed. It's failed every single time. This is the first time it actually landed, and if they can do that enough, it looks like the technology will work, and will make it space travel a lot cheaper.
All right.
So he's had a big week. He's doing very well,
And he's we're talking about him on this podcast, so it's a
and-
real big
and
week.
My favorite thing that he's making right now are the batteries. He's making home batteries for about $3,000. That would basically, if you can either plug them to your electrical system, or you can get solar panels.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's a blackout, you can live off the battery, and you pretty much just be self-contained power. Like you could build a log cabin in the middle of Montana and just have everything you need.
All right. Finally, I'm going off the grid, guys. I'm going to buy one of these batteries and move to Montana.
The prepper in me is very excited about that
Yeah,
technology.
of
And
course.
the building that is building it, the Gigafactory, is the world's largest building.
Right.
It is gigantic.
Crazy.
So, yeah, he's putting his money at all these different pots. He's going in lots of different directions, much like this episode.
Yeah.
There's really no through line.
Much like this episode,
Much
too.
like
right?
this
episode,
intro.
worst episode ever.
So I guess I'll start. All right. So there's like an eagle thing in the beginning where an eagle, a bald eagle, is in the backyard terrorizing the Simpsons. Not the it's a familiar Simpsons plot.
Yeah.
But it goes nowhere. Basically,
We'll talk about that scene.
I kept thinking, how are they going to connect Elon Musk to this bald eagle? And they don't. Eventually, it gets incinerated. He
kills the eagle.
He gets incinerated. I guess the eagle has landed.
That's right.
Because Elon Musk lands in their backyard via space shuttle, killing the eagle, and says they never explain why he's there or anything. He just says he's traveling the country, trying to see small towns and get inspiration for ideas and stuff like that. So he stays with the Simpsons again, never explained, and he finally realizes that Homer is giving him great ideas by just being Homer.
Right.
He calls them Homerisms.
He becomes his muse.
Yeah, although that's not what the episode's about, because then he decides to help the power plant be more efficient, I guess. He said apparently they weren't, I don't know, they're not using electricity well enough in Springfield, and he has a better way. It's very, very vague and unclear.
It's very vague, and
then they go back to the Homerisms again, where
Right.
he's like dependent on Homer.
But then everyone hates him for some reason.
Yeah, everybody hates him because there's a recession based on, I guess, more automated
Well,
technology.
I didn't understand. We'll talk about that later, but
Okay.
I didn't understand
so
that
now
plot
everybody,
development.
everybody hates Musk. Burns hates Musk because he's losing money on the venture. Burns didn't realize it was like for the betterment of humanity rather than a let's make a lot of money type
Right.
situation. So Burns hires hitmen to kill him while Homer is sick of being with Elon and wants to break up with him. and the hitmen fail on their first time, and then I guess Burns stops trying. Homer breaks up with Elon, says, just go away, get away from me.
Yeah.
So Elon flies back into space and cries a tear, and the episode kind of ends. And Carl sang at one point.
Carl did sing.
Yes.
We will talk about all of these things. But yeah, that's kind
the
of
episode.
That's the broad
Again,
strokes,
it
folks.
literally went everywhere.
So it opens with an eagle in the Simpsons' backyard. I actually thought this opening was actually pretty funny. I think I liked this episode the most out of the three of us.
Yes.
Yep, definitely.
Definitely. So it starts, there's just an eagle in their backyard. I don't think there's really an explanation. There's like a birdhouse that Lisa puts out
It
there.
reminds me of like when there was a badger trapped in their yard,
Right.
and a few other
Like,
situations.
there's
like
an animal
this.
in the house that we have to deal with.
Yeah.
Homer like punches the eagle at one point.
Yeah, it ate the birds.
Yeah, Lisa had like a birdhouse, which is what kind of attracted the eagle in the first place.
Right.
And it was a funny thing where it grabbed the birds and then kind of ate it in the tree, but Marge was trying to put a spin on
You
it.
didn't see the eagle eating the bird, and Marge is like, "Oh, I'm sure it's just feeding them," and then the skeleton of the smaller bird just falls onto Lisa. Yeah, there were a couple of other gags I liked in
Did you
the
like
opening.
Homer's toupee?
I did like Homer's toupee. So the eagle pulls out Homer's hair. Homer's got the two hairs, and then he says, "Bart, get me my toupee," and he gives him basically like it looks like a bald cap with the
bald
two
cap.
hairs, and he puts it on, and it just seamlessly is his new head. You guys didn't like that, Mike? You're making a face.
I didn't really care for it too much. It's just
I
kind of
liked
silly, but it wasn't like haha silly, to
Right.
me.
It was
It's just-
hee-hee.
Hee
Heh.
hee. Not even-
Remember when you would say like a funny joke to somebody in IM, and they would give you a heh, H-E-H, instead of like a LOL or a haha,
Yeah.
and you were like a little
That's-
insulted.
that's the worst
Like,
of all
really?
the-
You give
the
me a-
reactions.
Like, all right, I get it. You don't like the joke.
Yeah.
Heh. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I never got that.
All our listeners are going, "Hey, right now."
Mike only got LOL. Oh, Mike was a
Mike's killing it in the
ROFL.
yeah, I got the LMAO.
Rufflecopters.
People were rolling on the floor, laughing their asses off.
Oh my god!
Tears in their eyes.
So I like one bit. I'm curious to see what you guys thought about this. There's a piece where they lure the eagle into the house by playing Mousetrap. I don't really
All right,
understand
it
what
wasn't
that
Mousetrap.
was. It was Mouse Catch.
It was Mouse Catch. Again, why are they doing this Cosmic Wars change the brand thing? They've done board games before. There was Monopoly where Maggie was eating the houses and
Yeah,
hotels.
I feel like they could have done a funnier name,
Or just call it Mousetrap. Why you? I don't understand.
or
Why
just
do they
don't show
change
the
names
box.
of things?
It's weird.
Yeah.
But then they lure the eagle into the house. Bart closes the window. They try to get the eagle in a bag, and it ends up landing on Homer. And Homer is also in the bag with the eagle
It was a
attacking
clean
him.
piece of animation. Bart jumps
yeah.
and bags it, and in the same svelte move,
Yeah.
put the garbage bag over Homer's head as well, trapping them together. It was a nice piece.
laughed.
I liked
that
it.
was
I thought it
that
was
was a
very
funny
well done.
scene. Yeah, because it's all
It
kind of
was
like
well animated.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
kinda
seeing
tied
people
together.
suffer, specifically Homer. What did you guys think when he takes the bag off and then Homer's eye is hanging out of his face?
No.
I don't
Less-
like. I
less
don't
so?
like when they get cartoony like that. I think there's like an uncanny valley where it's like
A little bit, yeah.
Like if they dialed back a little bit, I can go for it. For instance, the Grease episode where the vacuum sucks on his
Right,
eye,
right.
and
That's
that
funny.
was also very cartoonish.
But that was it bulging out
It was
as
bulging-
opposed to hanging
Yeah, that
out
was-
by
yeah.
the optic
It
nerve.
Yeah,
was
that
just-
wasn't an empty socket.
Yeah.
I'm not laughing at
I
that.
don't know. Like we watched the Burns episode way
Well, I
back
think
when, where his lungs came out and he thought it was his
Yeah.
airbag. That's
I
a
don't-
little
I don't
too
love that.
itchy and scratchy.
This
Ren and
one,
Stimpy.
it's like you can see the eye socket, and it looks just like a cardboard cutout, and Homer's brain is just like it's black inside.
Yeah, it
so
was
it's very
hollow.
cartoony.
Yeah.
as opposed to like the bulging
You
eye
want to see
is realistic.
red pulp.
Yeah, I want
Mike, if your
blood
eye,
to gush.
as a doctor, if your eye pops out, what do we see?
You'll see skull. There's bone back there.
Okay.
Nice.
See, but we
I
would,
wanna
you
see
wouldn't
some
see we
skull.
wouldn't see black emptiness. Is what
No,
you're
it wouldn't be
saying.
like a
Did you say
void.
black and penis?
I said black and penis.
All right.
It's Black and Decker's merger with the sex toy company. They really weren't making a lot of money. People have been using these Roombas and stuff.
Yeah.
So they had to merge with the Dildonics company.
That was a good move for them.
Yeah, Black and Penis stock
Black
way
and
up.
Penis.
BNP.
I think Elon Musk is a backer
Is
of,
yeah,
of
Elon Musk has
Black and
gotten
Penis.
behind it. I'm saying right now, it is a must buy.
Oh!
It is a must buy. Must buy. BNP Black and Penis.
All right.
This is
Stock
this
tip.
is my podcast, my stock podcast.
This
right?
is Jack's
Yes.
Mad Money.
I, couldn't
That's what
remember,
this
I get them
is.
all mixed up these
The
days.
stock is on the rise.
Oh man.
Well, so is the Black Penis.
That's that. I set you up for that one. Thanks
sure
for
did.
taking it.
And I took it. If it's a low hanging fruit, I will pick
If it's
it.
a low-hanging black penis, Jack is plucking it for himself. Well, real quick about the eagle thing, I did like when he said he's going to have to bang him against the wall until he dies, and Lisa's like, no. Well, first of all, I thought that was very dark and graphic, but it's probably what you would do if you got a bird in your
Yeah.
bag.
The way he read the line too was kind of a little
Yeah.
different too. Like he kind of tailed off towards the end. Well, and say he Homer, you
Yeah.
know, and it wasn't like just a straightforward read. He got like a little sad towards the end, and like he emphasized, he like
Right.
put emphasis on the darkness of it.
But I did also like when Lisa said,
how they finished it.
Why don't you bring it to the Shelbyville Bird Hospital that you brought that hummingbird that was sick on the lawn? And he looks over at Snowball 2, and Snowball 2 is just like, ugh.
Yeah, like licking the paw in the corner and just
Yeah.
says, mm-mm.
I like
I thought that was funny.
That was funny.
Let's not
Right.
go there. Yeah, that was funny. Going back to the eyeball thing and this whole eagle thing.
Yep.
I feel like these late season 20 episodes, like the like season 23 and on or so, especially the very, very recent ones, where we're so far removed from the Purgatorio and the classic eras.
Yeah, it's a different show now.
It's
Completely
a
different.
very different show, and I think I like watching them more because it's so different that the ones like the teen season ones and the early 20 ones,
Yeah.
they're like just a poorer version of the Simpsons we know and
I
love.
completely
this
agree
is
with you,
so
Jack.
completely different that it's like I don't. It doesn't affect me.
Well, it's less.
It's way more cartoony. That's why I wanted to bring it up.
It's way more cartoony for sure, but it's less like this is a bad Simpsons episode and more this is an episode of a completely different show, and it's kind of fun to watch it because we're not seeing the same problems. We're seeing different problems.
It's definitely more fun to watch, or at least more tolerable. But I still don't think I can't really. I mean, maybe that Paul, the one Judd Apatow wrote, but
Right.
There haven't been. Oh, and the Halloween.
The
episode.
Halloween of Horrors.
But,
Yeah, we like that one.
I don't know, like episodes like this, they are less painful than watching a bad season 18 episode per se.
Yeah.
But they're not much
Yeah.
better.
It's kind of like they were struggling with evolving the show, and now I don't want to say that this is a great season or that things are fine, because we still obviously have issues even with season 27, but they've kind of figured out how The Simpsons works in an HD 2010-ish era. At least I think they have, or they've tried to.
I think it has. Yeah, I think it's more tied into just the way comedy is now, where it's a little bit more fast paced. And
Right.
who wrote? You said the writer of this was the Comedy Bang Bang.
This was Neil Campbell. Yeah.
And Comedy Bang Bang's a very fast paced, modern,
Very weird,
comedy,
postmodern type comedy.
I didn't quite see that in this episode, but it was different enough.
I'll say this. I think this episode has a lot of story problems as far as Elon Musk and how he's used, but I think there were a lot of funny gags in this episode. I'll point them out when we get to them. But
I'd like you to do that because I don't remember any.
It definitely
I laughed a lot in this episode.
Yeah,
you guys did
more,
not so much.
It had more one jokes that actually worked as opposed to missed completely.
Yeah.
As most of them, newer episodes do.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. The newer episodes don't miss. They miss, but
it may have just been lucky on their part because every day you're going to tell like a good joke and then you're going to have like a bad joke. Baseball players get some hits and then sometimes they go 0 for 4. This time they did pretty well in how they set up the joke and how they paid off on it.
I don't know about all your sports talk, but I am curious about how
Wrong audience. Sorry.
I am curious about how this episode came about. Because it's weird. Neil Campbell is not a writer on the show, and it's even on Wikipedia it says he was a freelance writer for this episode. So did he pitch an episode with Elon Musk in it, and then they got Elon Musk to do it?
I don't know what the backstory was, but this episode
Apparently
reminded
Elon
me.
Musk met James L. Brooks at a party and said he was a big fan, so they included him on the show. But I don't understand how you do that with a writer who's not part of the show.
I mean, maybe they're hiring freelance writers, and this is the one he got assigned to.
Maybe, yeah, could be.
Because they've always done that. But this reminded me the most of the episodes we've covered of the Lady Gaga episode, where it's just like we have a bigger than life personality. Let's just revolve the entire show around them.
I don't want to jump ahead. I don't want to jump ahead, but do you think this episode is as bad as that one?
No.
Okay.
No. Again, this is like what Mike was saying, where that was still a little bit earlier in the HD era, where the jokes were offensively bad. And these were more offensively bland.
Well, that one seemed almost like a marketing decision, like we need to promote Lady Gaga using The Simpsons.
Yeah,
this
it is
episode,
a little different because Elon Musk is not hip with the kids.
This toes the line a little bit between doing that.
This was a little bit more for the nerdier people, guys like us who we're the database and Milhouse in the crowd going, "Yay, Elon Musk!"
And also has.
yourself.
I'm not even sure if it promotes Elon Musk too much because it kind of emphasizes his failures too.
It does.
The end.
I mean,
and it doesn't have a good. He doesn't have a good lasting impression upon the town. And therefore, you're probably not you.
That's true.
You did read the book, Mike, so you should know that Elon Musk prides himself on his failures, and he says failing is exactly what you need to do to succeed.
Yes.
So then this episode was a success by its failure.
Great job, Simpsons.
All
writers.
right.
This is
That's
our
it.
best episode ever.
That's it for this episode of Worst of It. No, it's not at all. So yeah, they kind of live with this eagle. They name him Squawky, and it looks like they train him, and it jumps to 4 weeks later. And then it's just
totally missed that part.
It's
I
just
did not see that.
incinerated by Elon Musk's spaceship.
It was pointless.
And that's the end of that
Yeah.
storyline.
I kept saying, "Oh, how are they going to tie this in? Are they going to bring him?"
Yeah.
You
Is
literally
this-
said that, and then the spaceship came in and killed the
yeah,
eagle.
and just burned up the eagle.
Yeah, no, it was a complete non sequitur in that it didn't even have the faintest of threads that connected it.
But here's the
Again,
thing.
it felt like a Looney Tunes episode. It felt like the Looney Tunes cartoon that is before the movie. It felt like the
Right,
Roger
yeah.
Rabbit baby cartoon.
I wish it was a Roger Rabbit baby cartoon.
Oh, that was so great.
Yeah. Roger Rabbit. No, I'm Roger Rabbit. Is that how he sounds like? Maybe
Not at all.
Maybe not.
Gotta stay out of that one. Got nothing to add.
You're destroying my childhood.
Sorry. Okay. But it's weird because why have this opening? Why the episode could have just started. The Simpsons are outside and Elon Musk lands.
I don't know, but
This
I don't
is a
know if
very long intro.
I agree with that, but I also don't agree because that doesn't improve the situation because they never say why did he land in that particular backyard. They never ever explain why he shows up when he did.
He just says that he is going around the country looking for inspiration, and he happens to land in Springfield. It happens to be the Simpsons' backyard.
All right,
It's not the greatest.
I don't know. It's not original because when Steve Urkel built a jetpack for his science project, he flew up in the air and he randomly landed in the backyard of Step by Step.
That's
I
true.
remember that
And then
episode.
he taught Al the Urkel, and she made a bunch of friends because she was on that. She was an outsider, and once they learned the cool Urkel dance, society accepted her.
Elon Musk has said he was inspired by Steve Urkel.
He is
If Mike had read the book, he would know that.
It's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, it's in the middle chapters. His love affair. with
Actually, the
Steve
book has
Urkel.
a foreword by Steve Urkel.
It does.
Not
Julia
even,
White.
not even Julia White.
In
Julia
character.
White as Steve Urkel.
The Tesla does kind of look like Steve Urkel's car.
You're right. It kind of
No
does.
angles.
That's right. Steve.
Got any G's? Get it? G's?
I get it.
G-force?
I get it.
doesn't go that fast.
Well, I
travels through
I
time.
transitioned to the SpaceX. It's a multi-layered joke.
I didn't get that.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm saying that I don't know why they did the whole eagle opening because this is an episode that would have benefited from a
more
lot
time,
of
yeah.
time. Yeah, because there's plot threads that are just
Wait,
dropped
did they
and
cut
picked
the
back
couch
up.
gag? They cut the couch gag so that they
Yeah.
could squeeze in the eagle.
I guess. I don't know. It
The
just
eagle
seems
plot
like
wasn't even that long either. It was literally like
it was like 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Yeah.
But that in those 2 minutes, you could have tightened up this storyline with Mr. Burns or figured out a better reason for anything Elon Musk is doing, which is just not explained.
The town could be having electrical problems. You don't know.
Oh, I was going to
But
bring that up
I
later.
liked the eagle opening. I don't know if you
it
guys
was
liked
funny
it as much as I did.
It was funny.
Yeah, I wish it tied in better, but I was going to bring
Right.
this up later. What Mike said, jumping a little bit ahead, he makes some partnership with Burns about helping the city with its electrical problem.
Right.
What electrical problem? They weren't having an electricity problem. The one
That's
clear
true.
example we get is that now Willie doesn't have to manually push this turbine. In
That
the
was funny.
dungeon.
Great. That was funny.
Except
I liked that.
that's not a real problem. They would be hooked up to the nuclear power grid.
Yeah.
Elon was bringing a solution to a problem that wasn't there.
Well, I think he was
And-
making it. I don't know if it was a problem
think
to
he
a
was
solution. It was
improving
efficiency.
it.
He
Yeah,
was
he
just
was
making the
improving.
power plant more
That's
efficient.
not very good
That was a
storytelling. It should have been a
suggestion.
problem.
Yeah.
Like Mike said, they should have set up, and you have a perfect way to set it up in that everybody is charging too many tablets. Now everybody's got 4 or 5 iPads.
Even better, make it even simpler. Elon Musk in his spaceship, instead of incinerating an eagle, he incinerates something at the power plant, and then he has
And
to.
he has
He
to
feels like
rebuild
he
it.
has to fix it, and he
Yeah.
makes it better. That's your
That's
a little
that
starting
is even
point.
better. I was going to say by showing how Americans are wasteful and they plug everything in, and you can have like Homer using an air conditioner during the middle of winter and stuff like
Right.
that. And then because Elon's whole thing is we have to save the planet, and rather than everybody changing to fluorescent light bulbs or whatever, let's just I guess that is what he's saying. But basically, rather than cutting back on our wastefulness, let's
Right.
just create a way. Let's just build our way around it.
Right.
And that could have tied in it because of all the epitome of Americans being like brash and wasteful like that.
Yeah,
That
I mean-
stereotype is Springfield.
But you didn't even. That didn't need to be there. Just give a better reason. Elon Musk has to do something in Springfield.
Yeah.
Instead, it's just I'm arbitrarily here. I'm arbilarily going to stay.
Yeah.
I'm arbilarily going to be with
Here
Homer.
is a sort of problem to give you.
Right,
Like
exactly.
you said, if you're just making something more efficient as opposed to solving like Joseph Campbell's monomyth,
Yeah.
like Luke Skywalker and Neo, the
Yep.
guy that comes from out of nowhere and solves the problem. Imagine if Neo just had to make the Matrix run a little bit faster. Hey,
Yeah.
hey Neo, could you double our RAM? We're we just get our frame rate's not great. Like that's not as exciting as we need a total revolution. Let's overthrow our overlords.
Yeah, although Matrix Revolutions wasn't that great either.
Well, Matrix Revolutions could have benefited from a Neo. Could we just need help with the frame rate? We don't need the
frame rate was the least of the
we don't
problems.
need
in Matrix
human agent
Revolutions.
Sith.
Yeah. So Elon Musk lands in the backyard and the door opens and he comes out and Lisa's like, "Oh my God, it's Elon Musk. He's possibly the greatest living inventor."
Jesus Christ!
That's
and
where the fan service
there was
began.
lots of fan service.
Well, not even fan service. It's guest star service, I guess.
There was lots of like, "Oh, he's so great. He does this." I think they must have deleted the scene where they out and out just suck his dick. I'm assuming that's on the DVD.
No, it was in the credits. We turned it off before.
Okay, yeah.
You just see he just unzips.
You hear Dan Castellaneta doing some forced improv in the studio, just like,
tasty penis. He turned into Cookie Monster or something. That's what Cookie Monster would sound like if he was sucking a dick. Tasty penis.
Hey Siri, show me more penises.
It'd be great if your Siri turned on right now and just showed you a bunch of penises. We talk about penises a lot in this episode.
I'm noticing that a little bit here.
I think in every episode. Yeah. We haven't really had a penis-free episode in quite some time.
No, we haven't.
It'd be like a tagline for your
Penis-free since never.
Now with more penis.
Yeah, and that's kind of the end of the first act. Like, Elon Musk just shows up. He's having dinner with the Simpsons, and it seems like it's later that night, and it's like, why is he there?
Why is he there? That was literally the next note in my
that's exactly
book.
what I have, too. Why is he staying with them? Why, what?
It's just a vague reason that he's there is to look for inspiration because he's kind of run out of ideas.
It's so weird because it wouldn't be that hard to just make a reason for him to be there, right?
Yeah.
Like,
to see the need to improve upon Springfield being, well, if you went with like what Jack's approach was, is that it's a little bit more wasteful, a way to make it more, green.
He decides he runs the numbers and he finds out that 72 Evergreen Terrace, 742 Evergreen Terrace is the most wasteful house in America.
That's great.
That's perfect.
So he's trying to figure out how do Americans live so that I can make it better. And he's like, you're running 4 air conditioners at once. It's like, I like to keep my my drink chilled. It's
that
like,
would
use
make
the
sense.
fridge. It's like,
Even just this same way the episode was, have the spaceship break, and it's going to take him a little while to fix it, so he has to stay with them.
This would have been a good way to tie into, even though it has not much to do with Elon Musk, like an Internet of Things episode. Like, how funny would it be if the Simpsons had a smart coffee pot, and what's the ridiculous version of a smart? A smart coffee pot is pretty ridiculous already.
Yeah.
But like, what's even more ridiculous? Like,
right.
I
have a serious question for you guys. How big are your penises? No, I have an actual serious question for you guys. Do you think most people care about that kind of stuff, like connecting the story beats, or are a lot of people, especially nowadays, just watching The Simpsons
we talk about
on inertia, just wanting to see the gags?
Here's the thing. We talk about it on a technical level because, I went to film school. I learned this stuff. We've just been doing the podcast for so long.
Yeah.
We're also pop culture nerds, so we care about this stuff more than the average viewer, but the average viewer cares about it. They just don't know it. Having those story beats connect is what gives you the emotional response to the story.
Well, it's
people
like,
respond to Back to the Future. They're not going, "Wow, that screenplay was so perfect. It set up everything naturally."
Right.
They like it because it was set up so perfect that when everything pays off, you feel it.
So when something's done well, it just works.
You're feeling it even if you're not seeing the Matrix code.
And the average dum-dums are just like, that was a good movie, not really understanding, like, oh, they set up the picture thing, and they set up Principal Strickland.
To take it to a level where we're the dum-dums, why is... I don't know much about art. Why is the Mona Lisa such a beautiful piece of art?
Right.
There is technical reasons that art historians and people who are into art can tell you about exactly the techniques used and the structure and everything. This is why we respond this way to the Mona Lisa.
Right.
I can't tell you those things because that's not what my field is.
But do you think people care about that? Some people obviously do, but I think a lot of people will go to the Louvre and just go to see the Mona Lisa because it's so famous, and they're like, oh yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, well, they would maybe this fact that it's so famous, but I think they'd also go, that's a really pretty painting. They might not care, oh, it's so nice that he used this technique, but they are saying that, they just don't realize that's why they like it.
I guess. Well, but I'm saying I think there are people who would just go see the Mona Lisa because of its fame.
But who's watching The Simpsons just because it's famous when you
not because it's famous, but
channels
I think there are people who are such lifelong Simpsons fans who are still watching the new episodes. They just watch it just because it's still on.
That was me.
That's kind of my...
That was me up until I stopped having a DVR, basically.
Yeah.
Until I cut the cord. I was watching The Simpsons out of habit every episode.
Yeah.
just because. I mean, it's 20 minutes a week.
Yeah, I don't really watch it for that technical aspect like Jack does. I mean,
I
that's
watch it for the technical aspect. I just happen to see it.
Well, we do
you-
now.
Well, yeah.
Well, you can
Give
pick
us
up
your
on
money.
that a little bit easier because you are around that. That's what you are trained
Yeah.
to see and what makes a good episode technically sound.
That was film school. They scotch tape your eyes open and they just run lots and lots of stories, and you just have to.
Yeah, it's like, what is wrong with this story?
I'd still like to see some
It's just sex and
content.
drugs.
I'd still like to see some continuity in the episode a little
Right.
bit too, and I'll have it like flow in a natural pattern. I mean, if you listen to a song, there's an intro, there's a middle, and there's a chorus, and there's the ending
right.
of it.
There's-
and you don't want to have
there's a
like
structure.
Yeah, you don't want to have like different sounds completely. You don't want to go from rock to rap to all of a sudden to jazz or something at the end of it.
Speak for yourself.
You
I
like
love
that?
rap, rock, jazz.
It's the new Linkin Park app.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I still want to see it kind of flow nicely and have a good tie to it.
Yeah.
I don't like when it's just jump cuts. It makes me feel like I have ADD, when they just kind of jump around too much and it just goes from scene to scene to scene. I'm
It
like,
helps that focus.
it feels too quick for me. They don't set anything up. They don't tell me a story, and I don't enjoy it as much. From that aspect.
Yeah, that's Family Guy.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're describing Family Guy.
yeah, and again, even if you don't know why you're not liking it, you know that you're not you're not connected to it, you're not responding to
Right.
it, and you don't need to know the details of why you're not, but you know there's something not being set up,
Yep.
even if it's in the back of your head.
Carl, wake Grandpa.
Thank you.
Well, speaking of something that's not set up, suddenly Homer is Elon Musk's chauffeur, and he's just
Yeah.
driving him around
Yeah,
for
he's
some
just
reason.
riding in the bed. They're carpooling, they say at one point, and Homer says
Yeah.
ass grass or
Gas.
gas, and it's just
The
like
bumper sticker, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, okay,
yeah.
so you want him to give you weed or blow you? I just
Yep. That was pretty clear.
But it's also kind of weird too. Is later in the episode there's a self-driving car that's available. Why does he need Homer as a chauffeur?
That's
if
true.
There's a
Burns
self-driving
hadn't
car.
built those yet.
That's true.
So this Lisa's also in the back seat.
Lisa's in the back seat, and it turns into this very, very odd scene where we're just watching Elon Musk write notes to himself in absolute silence.
Why?
I don't know
It
what
almost
that was.
felt like a season 1 scene where they never take their time and have such a lengthy, quiet scene like that anymore.
They don't,
I'm
but
not
what
saying
was the point of
no,
this
I'm not
scene?
saying it's good. I'm just saying the vibe of it felt season 1 to me.
Yeah.
It felt like those old Seinfelds where they dissolve instead of cut to in the next episode.
Right.
The next scene.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird. And, it makes sense that Lisa would be there and kind of pining over Elon Musk because he's a very accomplished entrepreneur and a very, very
Yeah.
smart engineer.
I got excited because I thought, okay, this is what the episode's going to be
that's
about.
where the
Musk
episode
and
will go.
Lisa are going to form a...
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of different ways you could go with Elon Musk is on The Simpsons.
Right.
I think a Lisa episode is a pretty obvious one that
Yeah.
they
Mhm.
half do, but don't really.
It
it's not
reminded
really
me of
fully
Bergstrom
baked.
because he was writing notes to her.
That's true. But they don't really go anywhere with that. I thought pairing him with Mr. Burns was actually a really smart thing to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
But there's not really enough of it in this
No,
episode.
they pair him with Burns and Homer.
They
and
pair him with Homer too much.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the whole kind of he and Homer have this weird relationship, and then Homer has to break up with him at the end. None of that worked for me.
Yeah.
Did you guys like that? Like
No.
that just
No,
seemed.
It seemed like it's a forced thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess they did Homer because he can say funnier things than Lisa can. Lisa
I
would make
guess.
too much sense. Homer would say stupid stuff, and I think that's the whole basis.
I
of
mean,
the episode.
the idea of Homer, says all these stupid things like, "I wish these were white meatballs," is what he says about all the notes that Elon Musk has balled up.
Jesus
Which,
Christ.
okay, whatever. I
Yeah.
don't really know what that is. Like the idea of Homer saying dumb things and that
Well,
inspiring Elon Musk. There's something
that's
there.
That's a good idea, and
Right.
Musk calls them Homerisms.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem is they're not Homerisms.
No.
Like if one, he says chocolate rain, which is
Yeah.
somebody
Don't
else's.
taste me, bro.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
taste. That's not even a not Homerism. That's somebody else's ism.
right. It was
But-
already very dated by the
But
time
wouldn't
this
it have been
episode came out.
wouldn't it have been so much stronger if Homerisms were actual Homerisms? Like he went donut or he said dough, and then Musk is like, wait, dough. What if I could 3D print dough and you can have a pizza come to your door? He's using
Something
the
like
Homerisms
that.
that we already know.
They
'Cause-
kind of did that with Stephen Hawking back in season 10 or 11.
Yeah,
or
Your
whatever it was.
idea of a donut-shaped
donut-shaped universe. Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
intrigues me.
exactly. I mean,
But that was one scene, not an
right.
entire episode.
But this was the same idea, except instead of Homer saying dough and donuts, he's saying chocolate rain and don't taste me, bro.
Yeah, which was
Which
terrible.
Honestly, is anybody like 4 or 5 years from now going to know what "don't taste me, bro" even means?
Probably not.
I mean, I guess they won't get the Walter Mondale laundry ship either. So it's
It's all
yeah,
relative.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I like the pairing with Mr. Burns. I felt like if you have Elon Musk on, you have to do a Frink thing, which they do later. We'll talk about that, but they could have done more there. It just seems like they divided it too much
Yeah.
between Lisa, Homer, and Mr. Burns, and they could have just picked one.
Right.
And
Burns
gone with
and
it.
Musk make a great broad plot. Springfield. If you're going to do how does Musk change Springfield, I think that works. But I
Right.
almost kind of wish it was more intimate. And it was just again,
just them boning in the dark.
The Simpsons is
22
the most
minutes.
wasteful family in America, and it's classic. Guest star stays in the house and has different threads with all four of the main Simpsons.
Yeah.
That
Kinda
would-
like the
I
Michael
think-
Jackson episode.
Yeah. Michael Jackson, Apu,
Yeah.
Otto, whatever. I think that would have worked much stronger.
Yeah, I think so. But what we get is white meatballs.
Yeah, and also during that scene, they cut away to Wiggum and Eddie sitting on the side.
Yes.
On the street. You know what I've noticed? This seems to be a trope now in the post-classic season where they pan, they like swipe away
To
in
the
the same
cops.
shot to the
Yeah.
cops on the side of the road.
They've done that?
and they have,
have
a back
done that
that's
before, yeah.
multiple times, and they have like a back and forth, like a weird non sequitur. And I don't hate it. Usually, it's like a weird, again, postmodern kind of comedy, but I don't like it either. They're usually not.
Well, all
Right.
right, to set up what this one was, so Elon Musk has been taking all these notes, and he's got his crumpled up note balls, I guess, that Homer calls white meatballs, and then they have like a kind of like a
Play fight.
a play fight where
Yeah.
they're throwing these crumpled up notes at each
Note
other.
balls.
Note balls. They pass by Wiggum and Lou, and Lou takes out his gun and playfully shoots Wiggum.
No, other way around.
No,
Other way-
well, Lou shoots him first.
Oh, right, okay.
But doesn't actually shoot him. But then Wiggum takes out his gun and literally shoots Lou in the shoulder.
Eddie, right?
Was it? It's Lou. Oh no, it is Eddie. You're right.
Eddie.
Which one's the white one?
I think Eddie's right.
Eddie's
We don't need a Lou,
Eddie's the white one.
right?
Is that what you're saying?
I was saying Eddie is a black one.
No, Lou.
Oh,
is,
yeah,
Lou is the black one. Because I will
Lou
cut
the
you.
cop. Lou the cop.
I will cut you down
Yeah,
to
right.
sergeant so fast and make your head spin.
Right.
Right.
So Wiggum actually shoots Lou in the shoulder. I thought that was very funny, but then he does it again, and it's very dark.
Yeah, the second time was just too much.
They should have just cut away after he shot him in the arm once.
Cops shooting black people
Yeah,
without
you know,
cause is
we don't need to
probably
comment on
not-
that.
Probably not the best thing to throw in as a non.
It's not great
as a side
comedy.
gag.
I was gonna say I laughed at it, but now after you said that, I don't want to say that anymore.
Well, no,
it's
it
not-
was,
it was
I laughed
funny.
at the idea of Lou shoots Wiggum,
Yeah.
playfully, and then Wiggum's a moron and actually shoots him.
Yeah.
That's funny, but then he
Yeah,
shoots him again.
these Lou Wiggum sidebars that they keep throwing in these episodes, they're usually a wacky type of humor, usually dialogue based.
Yeah.
And very catty. They're they're like an old married couple. I never hate them, but I never really liked them either.
It was fine. I think it went on a little too
But
long.
it is interesting that it's a
could've been better.
relative. It is a trope because it's happened multiple times now, and it's funny that it's never happened. I don't think in the classic years. Maybe it did. I don't know.
Not really.
Usually, you just get Wiggum alone in the car doing something silly.
Yeah. So what did you guys think? And I don't know if this was a reference to something. Every time Homer says a Homerism and it spawns an idea for Elon Musk, we see him thinking, and it plays like that classical music beat.
I don't know what that cue was.
That was
I don't
so
know what that was.
awkward.
Was it not in the Wikipedia?
I didn't see it.
If you're in the Reddit, because we've had a few episodes now where somebody in the Reddit was like, "Oh, that music cue was this." You guys are great. So if you can do the work for us, we appreciate
it doesn't say anything. I don't see anything on Wikipedia. So
It
if
didn't
you guys
seem
know,
like
It
an
didn't
original
s-
composition.
It didn't seem to fit anything.
No,
it
it-
just happened.
it seemed just like classical music and just.
I wonder
that
if
represents Elon
I
Musk
don't
thinking. I
remember
don't know.
that in The Man Who Fell to Earth. Maybe it was a reference to that. I
Could've
don't
been.
think it was though.
I liked it. I thought it was a good use of music in the episode. Just trying to give the episode credit where credit's due.
It
Actually,
added to like the epic brilliance of Elon Musk.
yeah, there was another funny musical beat at the end of this act when they play a PowerPoint
I wrote that down
presentation.
too, yeah.
Yeah, and it's the music from the Land of Chocolate, like that. Dun, dun, dun.
But horrible things happening in the background.
Like
Right,
the
yeah,
upbeat
yeah.
mall music.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah, I like that,
And Mike
so.
said like that music's always funny, and you're not wrong.
It always
you're not wrong.
strikes. It reminds me of the older Simpsons episodes too. That's probably why I
Absolutely.
like it too. But it was really funny with how they showed like Monty Burns with like flying money away from
Yes.
him, and he's scared about it.
Yes,
I like the cue. I didn't like this. I can't think of a goddamn single gag after the garbage bag and the eagle that I really
I
appreciated.
kind of liked.
The Glavinator.
No, before
The
that,
Imaginer?
I actually didn't like the
Imaginer was
Gravinator.
funny.
The
I
Imaginer
didn't-
was okay, but even before that, I liked. It was a real quick thing, but it came back later in the episode where Homer gives Elon Musk an idea, and these little hearts pop up and start moving from Elon Musk to Homer, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I invented something, so I don't have to show emotion."
Yeah.
and it's like a visual emoji type thing.
Yeah.
that's funny.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah,
Well-
I didn't like that because it was again cartoony, but I did like the idea that he had these drones following him everywhere that did very specific things. Like that's also cartoony, but it felt a little bit more grounded. Like he could feasibly have a quadricopter playing a violin.
Right.
And like that I liked. It reminded me almost of Fifth Element, like when Gary Oldman just had all his like little doodads around the office.
Yeah, right. I like that. He had a drone that had like a bento box in it for his lunch, and it just expanded. And he was like, "You're the Willy Wonka of whatever." Homer said it wasn't that great.
He
but
said something about underpaid munchkins. And
yeah. Right.
Well, speaking of emotion for a little bit, did you guys like Elon Musk like voice acting?
Oh,
in
I
this?
did want to bring
Good
this
call.
up.
Good call.
They even referenced that he's very flat and monotone.
It's devoid of any kind of emotion.
I thought he did a good job, though. It worked to his favor. I think. I don't think he did a bad. Like he was pretty much himself, and he is flat and monotone. But I don't think it was like a Yao Ming type performance where.
I'm not a Musk expert, but he does talk like
I
that,
read the
right?
book.
Yes,
you
read
wrote the book, actually.
I'm rewriting it now.
You are Elon Musk.
I'm typing it.
In his spare time, he becomes our childhood friend. He's all of our childhood
That'd be
friends,
amazing
really.
because
My
we
alter
really
ego.
could get a car from him.
Yeah, but give me
What a car, Mike. God.
Sorry.
But
They're on
no,
back order.
I thought he did pretty well. He did reasonably well as a non-actor.
Yeah.
Who was asked to do a lot. He's a huge part of the episode. I thought he was pretty good.
I think if we were to put like the greatest voice actor of all time, who's not not really
Not an actor or voice actor.
I'm trying to think of who a great one would be. Just because it was recent, let's say the Wallace and Gromit guy.
There you go.
And the worst
Nick
one being
Ardman, I believe.
Yao Ming, who again seems like a nice gentleman, but
Right.
just couldn't hack it.
Yeah.
He would be definitely closer to the better end of the spectrum.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's talk about the Imaginer. So we get to Elon Musk is in Mr. Burns' office, and he pitches these ideas. He wants to put a magneto something or other into the reactor core to make something whatever. A bunch of science
We're
stuff.
not scientists.
I don't know much of science words.
in the
I'm a
book.
tough guy.
It's in the book.
It's all in the book.
It's all in the book.
And Mr. Burns says that he can't imagine what it would be like. His doctor said he's not allowed to imagine. Was that what it was?
Yeah, I think that was the reason why.
Here's a
they
comedy
put him
bang
in.
bang type joke, huh?
Yeah, well, so he brings in his Imaginer, and it's
yeah.
this guy with a beard who just says, "Oh yes, this would be great." What did you guys think of that?
The more I think about it, the more it would totally be a comedy bang bang gag. I thought it should have
I did write funny but super weird, which is generally
Yeah.
what I think of
What
the
did you
Comedy
think?
Bang Bang show.
I chuckled at it at first, but it kind of developed a little bit too, like
Yeah.
towards the end where he fake gives him money. He says, "Imagine saying, oh, Swiss francs. I can take my wife out for dinner," and he grabs the
grabs
lamp.
a lamp and
we're
brings it
going
into
to
the
the
closet.
city.
Yeah.
And they go into a broom closet, and he
Yeah.
goes, "Wait, what the hell?"
I thought that was really funny.
I don't want to say it was too weird for me because we keep saying the show should experiment.
Nothing is too weird for Dan.
And it shouldn't be, it doesn't have to be like it was, and this certainly wasn't a classic Simpsons type
Right.
gag.
No.
I think what would have made it work for me would be if it was not an original character, if it was like, say, Hans Moleman or Lenny or someone.
So I wanted to bring that up. It's weird that he's this original one-off character. He's just the Imaginer. He's a guy with a beard. There's not a whole lot of Simpson characters who have like big beards like this guy.
Yeah.
It was weird that he was an
It
original
would've-
character.
I think it would have been much funnier if it was Moleman, Lenny,
Disco
even,
Stew.
or even Charlie. Like Charlie's a very underused nuclear power plant character, but
I
he has
haven't
a
seen
funny
Charlie in any
He's got a
episodes.
funny voice.
But he has a funny voice. And he has a funny look, and I could see him doing like that Harry Shearer high pitch, like, "Yeah, I'm imagining it. Yeah."
You know who else has a funny voice? That Hemus guy. I hope he shows up later.
No, Freet killed
call
him.
him up.
Freet. There was an altercation.
like that.
There was an altercation on the bus stop.
pacifist. One other characteristic that makes him a fully fleshed out character.
He was by accident. He tripped over him by accident and broke his neck and died.
you're spilling.
Hemus is dead.
I saw him outside. He
you-
looked pretty dead.
I'm gonna go get Hemus
If you
from the bus stop.
if you play our previous episode backwards, you will hear Hemus is dead over like.
And a kickin' recipe for lentil soup. Yeah. I don't know. At this point, I just wrote, this episode is just things happen in exclamation points and all caps.
Yeah, so this is where, again, this makes no
It
sense.
really started
This
to
is
fall
where
apart.
he makes things more efficient, which I really had a problem with this. Like, there was no problem to solve.
Yeah. It jumped from from the Eagle to Homer and Musk, and now to Mr. Burns.
But then
and
it's
then,
back to Homer,
and then back.
and now it's Musk was with the rest of Springfield.
Yeah.
He does. This is when the Glavinator thing happens with Professor Frink. He says, "I invented a Glavinator," and Frink is like,
I like
I
that.
spent so many years on the Glavinator or whatever.
Yeah.
It was a funny idea, but it
I
didn't.
like the idea that somebody else would have a Glavinator.
Right.
I just like Frank.
Yeah.
His voice and his manner is funny.
Mike, you need more than just a funny voice
know.
for something to work, though. It's just
You
not
need,
funny.
you need to be a fully fleshed out
You need to be
character.
a
Yeah,
fleshed
you need
out
to have
character.
hobbies and interests, and
Absolutely.
you know,
You need a place of birth.
yeah.
I was born in Mount Kilimanjaro.
So you're from Africa.
Yes. Couldn't you tell
you're
from my accent?
That actually is relatively Afrikaner.
There you go. I was friends with Elon Musk growing up. He's from South Africa.
Do you even know where Kilimanjaro is?
Nope.
It's not in South Africa, right?
It's not in South. I didn't say it was in South Africa. Africa's a big country. It's a
country?
continent. I have to go now.
Are you really from Africa, or are you just saying you're from Africa?
He just left. I don't know. That was weird. He ran out.
Should ask him next time I see him.
Next time we see him, we'll question these inconsistencies in his character.
Again, as much as the idea of Burns and Musk being together works because they're both billionaires, I don't think it was a right choice because, again, he shouldn't have had anything to do with the power plant. He should have been maybe tied in with the mayor to impose these self-driving cars and stuff like that. That has nothing to do with Burns. I really had a problem. He really didn't do anything with the nuclear power plant. He didn't make it better or more efficient. What did you write?
He's looking up where Mount Kilimanjaro is.
Where is it?
Tanzania.
All right. Anyway,
it's
it's
taking a video.
I'm just talking and it's insulting when you're clearly not listening.
I was listening.
I was listening too, but then he kind of like
I
looked
like
at
it
it
was
and
Google Mount Kilimanjaro. I just want to know where it was.
What's your background?
So
Let's play Toto Africa now.
Gonna take a lot. That's all we can do legally.
Really?
Take me away from you.
But anyway, this is where they get into like, all right, how does Musk change Springfield? You know, this is the broad part of the story. One thing I want to notice, I noticed that I want to bring up that I think is a problem is that there's a lengthy Kent Brockman exposition scene with Channel 6 News, and he does a joke about the Little Rascals and stuff.
I like that joke, actually. He says, attention fans of Little Rascals, the oldest one has died, or the last one has died.
Yeah, the
that was
entire
funny.
time he does this, though, the Little Rascals and the exposition, there's a graphic behind him, you know, that square graphic they put in the corner,
Yeah.
And it says Channel 6 News. And I'm pretty sure in a older Simpsons episode, they would put something funny there. It would be funny if it was like, remember the Little Rascals. It would be like a happy Little Rascals graphic.
Yeah.
And then they have
Last one
died.
has died.
And then it cuts to like a tombstone and says alfalfa.
Yeah, that would've been better. You're right.
I don't understand why they, it's an animated show. Why can't you spend a little effort and just put something there in that corner?
Yeah.
It was weird. It just said Channel 6 News.
I agree. I didn't notice that, but that's a good point.
Well, isn't Mo an original Little Rascal?
It is.
So
He is.
he's
So-
not. Did Mo die?
So Mo is dead.
Mo died. Oh my god.
He wasn't in this episode. Did you notice?
Yeah, I did, because he was dead.
Conspicuously absent.
They put him to death after
Freet
he
killed him.
That's not true. I'm a pacifist.
Freet is killing off everybody's favorite characters and Hemus.
Mount Kilimanjaro is in Tanzania, which is in Africa. You can't fool Freet. Bye, everyone.
That is one fully fleshed out character.
There you go.
I gotta
glad
say,
you
he's
admitted
very
it.
well rounded.
He is.
Much better than Hemus Fool.
Right around this time was when there was a moment where the episode looked at what it was going to be about Smithers for a little while, and it was just Smithers. I don't even know what happened. He was
Worrying
upset
about Monty and
because
his money.
he was worried about Mr. Burns somehow.
I don't know what was
the
going on
fuck
with
it was.
this
It was like a
whole
minute
thread.
of the episode, and it was just nothing.
Just there.
Yeah, I just wrote "huh" in my notes.
Can that be the name of this episode?
Eh.
So then we see Elon Musk has rolled out kind of the self-driving cars and all these great technologies to the Springfield Unites. We see how it impacts their lives. We see Arnie Pie as Arnie in the Sky. He doesn't have to drive his helicopter anymore. It's a self-driving helicopter. So he's getting loaded. I kind of liked where he went, now I can get as loaded as I want. And he just started drinking bourbon.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
Jeff for my bagel.
I thought that was funny too, but that was like 20 years ago.
I know. I'm still laughing at that.
Yeah.
That was much
It's a
funny.
good joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, if you're going to do a self-driving helicopter, I feel like there's got to be something funnier than a guy drinking and getting drunk in there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess. I don't know. I liked he dropped it and Homer catches it.
It would be funny if he had
everything's
like maybe if he had like a garden in there, like a bonsai tree he was trimming something. I don't know. Just he's getting drunk. I don't know.
I
It
guess
fits Arnie's character
you're right.
because he always has this like repressed misery
Yeah.
to him. But I don't know. It just did nothing for
That's a
me.
good point. You could have done something a lot more than just he's been drinking in a
Yeah,
helicopter.
it's like the Channel 6 News graphic. It's like, just try a little bit harder. It's a placeholder game.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I take it back. I don't like it. I didn't like it. Changed my mind.
If for people who say Dan is not
Not a fully
malleable.
fleshed out character.
Dan is not a fully fleshed out
not.
character. He's
Name
one-
3
he's-
characteristics about me. You
You,
can't.
you hate kids.
Yep, that's one.
That's it.
That's it. That's the only
You
one.
don't know where Mount Kilimanjaro is.
I do now. It's in Tanzania.
You're one short of being a fully fleshed out character. You're 2D.
All right.
Well, you're 1D.
I'm 1D. One Direction
You're a
forever.
D bag.
Oh God.
I'm a directioner. That's another characteristic about me.
You like One
Wait,
Direction?
I love One Direction.
Whoa.
You got Harry, you got
Whoa,
Zayn,
whoa, whoa,
you got
whoa.
Louis.
Zane's not in there anymore.
I know.
Are they
I'm
actually
so upset.
called
Sad I know
directioners?
that.
Yes, they are actually called
Oh,
directioners.
get out of here.
Much like Beliebers.
That's ridiculous.
I forget what Taylor Swift's are called. Swifties? I think
Deadheads.
it's Swifties.
Deadheads.
That's so stupid.
It's confusing because Jonathan Swift fans were always called Swifties. It's a modest proposal that they should change their name.
That's really stupid. It's not at all cool like how I'm a Trekker. It's not a Trekkie. Trekkers are people who are more Next Generation fans than original series.
It's a pretty nerdy distinction.
No, that's a real distinction. It's not stupid like Directioner.
I-
It's my defining characteristic.
I like Elon Musk, so I'm a Muskie.
A Muskie.
You're a
There you
Muskie.
go.
We're a Musker.
Didn't
muskrat.
Didn't the
You're a
Muskies,
muskrat.
Didn't the Muskies win the Final Four this year?
No, they weren't in it. The Muskies didn't make it.
There's a scene where Bart tries to steal the self-driving car and make it so he can drive it.
Yeah, he had
Why
to,
would
like,
you want to
he had
drive
to
the
hack it.
self-driving
He had
car?
to come up with Elon Musk's.
He's already driven a car.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say if you like the whole scene was, oh no, how are you gonna get Elon Musk's password? It's like, well, if that's the case, just use the keys and steal a regular car.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Although I did kind of like that the password is Musk Rules with a Z.
Yeah, but there could have been a better time
you know
to
what?
implement that.
You're right. It could have been improved. Like that could have been the
Yeah.
placeholder
Yeah.
joke, and they could do something
Not
better.
even the joke, just the idea. Even if I don't
Well,
mind
the
Musk,
whole
with
idea
Musk
was-
rules with a Z, but
Yeah.
it should have been in a part of the plot, and not this weird side joke that went nowhere and had no
Yeah.
this
point
whole,
and
this
was
whole
not
act,
grounded.
the end of this act was just these weird side things that went nowhere.
Yeah, it's just a way to
Smithers,
get
Bart. It's just
Yeah, it's just a way to get Bart in the episode, I feel like. You
But,
know?
dude-
He didn't do anything.
put a story with an A to B to C where Bart needs Elon Musk's help, and it takes
Yeah.
up like 2 minutes total of the screen time.
Or Musk is like, "Hey Bart, you want to drive a car?" He's like, "Oh man, you're the coolest." And like Bart
Yeah.
slowly realizes he's not actually driving the car.
Right,
yeah.
You know, he tries to slam it into an old lady or a cat or something. You know, Bart's homicidal.
Yeah, of course.
He runs over that little elf in the village again.
Yeah.
You know?
And then he realizes that the car is actually course correcting Bart's actions, and
Yeah.
But maybe it actually does, run over Skinner or something. It's just like he was like, oh, the algorithms knew that Skinner was a nerd, and needed
Yeah,
to be run
and
over.
had to be saved.
That's not it. But again, placeholder.
Something like that, yeah. We talked about the PowerPoint thing, so I don't really have anything else to bring up with it.
I have this point in my notes because
Sure.
we take our notes chronological. I don't know if it's specific reference, but we were talking about season 26 episodes and how they're kind of their own world now from even season 20. Burns doesn't feel like Burns to me anymore.
In this episode in particular, he did feel less Burnsy, I guess, because he wasn't as evil as he has been in the past.
I think it might be more that he's such a gag machine at this point. Like, let's just give him funny
Yeah,
lines that
you might be right.
he's kind of just lost his characterization. He's gone Freet.
Freet is a fully formed character, my friend.
Well, his characteristics are.
I've never met him.
I feel like his characteristics have always been that he's one, evil, and two, out of touch with time too. He always has those throwback references.
Well, I think it was Conan said. I think it was.
He's the easiest character to write for.
He said he was his favorite character to write for.
that's
You
what
just have to remember that he is the oldest person alive and he's the richest person alive, and just combine those two things, and that's
he
Mr.
can-
Burns.
But a
He's
lot of
very
those jokes
funny.
don't have the jokes are much more postmodern now than that.
Now they are,
Usually
yeah.
Burns is, I don't know, just saying weird things they're all saying weird things. And I don't want to give the show shit for trying new things, but they should. I think the problem is they're not really rooted in character anymore.
Too often it's weird for the sake of weird.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, I agree with that.
Even the hitmen, he later has 3 hitmen that are very old. Maybe just pick one. I don't know.
Well, okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves, which you
'cause
don't
we-
usually like to do, Jack. But
I know.
I want to talk about the Hitmen.
Well, there was one thing before the Hitman, I believe,
Okay.
and that was with the whole. What I think we were getting before Ken Brockman was there was that it caused an E depression, and then they showed
Well,
the
yeah, that's
old timey like kind of sepia tone.
all right. So let's just talk about that. That was the next thing chronologically. I think I don't know what happened there. Like you're right. There, Channel 6 did have a logo this time. It was the Great E-pression.
Yeah.
Which
is fine. That's whatever. But I don't know why. Is it because
They
Elon
don't quite
Musk
explain it.
There were layoffs at the power plants.
Yeah,
right.
I know that happened. I don't really know why. I think
I'm
because Mr.
guessing
Burns
it's-
was losing money.
Well, I guess that too. Yeah. Oh, I thought it was maybe tied into the fact that we're automating all these things and self-driving cars. We're going to have mass job loss.
But that wasn't in there. Like they could have had a scene like, oh, all the mechanics are out of work
That
now,
wasn't there. But
and-
you're right. I guess he just flat out lost a lot of money. So maybe that was it. I don't know.
I guess, but as Mike was saying, it turns into this sepia-toned thing. This
Well, it's supposed to be like the Great Depression.
I get it. It just wasn't funny.
Yeah,
it
it
was
wasn't
this
funny at
weird
all.
song that Carl, of all people, is
Why
singing.
is Carl singing
I have
it?
no idea why Carl is singing.
That would
dancing in
be
the
like-
background.
The
that would-
last thing in the world I want to hear is Carl sing.
And it's not even that Hank Azaria's voice of Carl isn't the best singing voice. like, what if what was the prop season 7 immigrant episode prop
24 I think it was.
All right, prop 20. Like, so that's about immigrants, and it's
Right.
like Pooh and Mo and Willie. Why would you have Skinner sing a song about to depict this exposition?
Right.
Skinner would make no sense in that situation.
Yeah. Carl was not in the episode.
I mean, he's a
this
power
point.
plan worker, I guess, but
And nothing that happened was especially memorable or funny, because there was a whole visual aspect to the song where things were happening, and it was this old-timey depression in Springfield.
I think we all kind of actively groaned when that came on screen.
I mean, it's a lot of effort to push forward a plot that they're not invested in at all. If the whole episode was about this session, then this song you could argue would be a necessary part of the episode.
Yeah.
But it's not.
It just felt tacked in.
Now it's if you're tacking something, so you're saying it's tacked in. Now imagine if you're
Shoehorned
tacking,
in even.
So imagine you're tacking in a.
Can I do it?
Yeah, shoehorned in, I would say.
Pop, 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 pop.
There you go.
All right. So what's the tacked in sound, Mike? You get to christen it. This was tacked in.
There you go. We tacked it in.
I don't know if I can do that though. So
Just clicking your tongue.
I don't know how to click my tongue.
You can't click your tongue?
What is like Swahili or African speak or whatever? I can't do that.
Africa heavy episode today.
I can't do it.
I don't know what that was, but that's
What are you
something.
doing?
I don't know what you're physically doing.
Okay, so you put your tongue up to the roof of your mouth and then kind of like you flip it. Well,
No, that looks awful.
I can do Donald Duck,
my dad does that. I used to be able to do it. Wait,
but I can't cluck.
That's Donald Duck drowning, right?
I can't. Anyway, so
the song's tacked in.
So you're saying it's tacked on, and if you can, maybe you can tack on something light. But imagine if you tacked on like a 45-pound weight. The tack wouldn't hold it. So I think that's what's going on here.
It's just this doesn't fit in this part of the episode,
and it's supporting something that's not there.
Yeah.
right? So then the plot becomes Mr. Burns is going to kill Elon Musk. I have no idea why.
What?
Mr. Burns was mad that he was losing money, but he doesn't have to kill Elon Musk to fix that problem. He could just stop doing the things Elon Musk said to do. Mr. Burns is the owner of the power plant, not Elon Musk. I don't really understand why all of Springfield turned on Elon Musk, but especially Mr. Burns. He hires these old-timey hitmen, which you said you weren't that crazy about, Mike.
No, that was Jack.
Oh.
I thought it was
One of you wasn't
I thought
crazy
it was
about
a
it.
little unfocused.
So-
really, you have a Confederate guy, you have a World War I guy.
It was basically the same joke as Last Exit to Springfield, where he gets the strike breakers and it's Grandpa
I
and
was
the crazy
actually
old man.
expecting when they said Smith's like, sir, these are a little too old. I thought it was going
Right.
to be the Grandpa and Jasper.
Yeah, but instead it was like a World War I guy and a Confederate soldier. It was, I don't know, I laughed, but it was kind of...
It's the typical joke that Mr. Burns is not in sync with time.
it was
pretty much.
tacked on.
Plus, we know he has an assassin, the one that tried to kill Homer that one time. Remember?
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. The suave.
Suave Latin guy.
Yeah. No, I guess I didn't like it because it was very one note and didn't go anywhere. I guess it's two note in that the recoil killed him. But
That was kind of funny. I like that.
Yeah.
I still don't understand why they were trying to kill Elon Musk. There's no reason at all for that.
this episode just kind of happens.
Yeah.
It was very postmodern. It was like, I feel like if you were to go to like the East Village in the 70s and see some weird hippie performance art, this episode might have like just been like a one-woman show.
Yeah, I would love to see a one-woman show of this episode. I think that would be pretty crazy.
We listeners.
But there's only a couple more scenes in this episode. We see Elon Musk go back to his spaceship, and I liked this. He gives Bart a working lightsaber, which you pointed out it was red.
Red, he's a Sith.
That is a Sith
an evil.
lightsaber.
Bart's evil.
So then Elon Musk is in space. He's playing Simpsons Tapped Out for some reason on his big
if
screen.
you're gonna do a reference to that, I guess that's the
I don't know. I
time.
guess that was
I
something.
never played it because you have to be online, and
Yeah.
I do all my playing on the subway.
I gave up
underground.
on it a long time
I can't.
ago.
Yeah.
Why can't they fucking make these games offline? It pisses me off so much. I'm trying to play this Star
I
Trek
don't
app, and I can't do it because I'm not online.
Oh, old
I'm
man
sorry to
Jack
hear
over
that.
here doesn't like it.
Yeah, you don't like your offline apps, you know?
Is it so hard for me to just play the game offline?
I don't know.
Do I have to be attached to the cloud?
At all times.
Yeah.
Elon
Cloud's always
Musk
there.
demands it. And then
always
it,
cloudy.
It ends with Elon Musk seems to be in love with Homer. He has like a Princess Leia style hologram
Yeah.
of Homer saying the Miami Dolphins helmet has a dolphin wearing a helmet.
Oh, yeah, that was one of Homer's homerisms, which we discussed off air. The dolphins had a helmet.
Right.
It's not an original idea.
Well, and it was redesigned in 2013, so when this episode came out, it wasn't even true.
So they've now taken the helmet off. There was a helmet.
Right. There was a
Now
helmet
there
on the
isn't.
dolphin.
Yeah, now
which-
there's no
on the
helmet
helmet.
on the dolphin.
As Dan or Mike pointed out, that's regressive because now we know a lot more about CTE and
Right.
concussions and stuff.
We
And
all saw Will Smith's
I feel
movie.
like all
Yeah.
mascots at this point should be wearing the helmets.
You're right.
Yep.
All mascots should be helmets. it's
It's the New York helmets versus the
San
New
Francisco
England
helmets.
helmets.
If you want to promote safety, that's the way to do it, guys.
The Chicago knee pads.
He's got a bear all decked out in like a helmet and shoulder pads.
Then Miami would become the Cups because Miami looks like a dong. No? All right, whatever. And that's it for this
That's
episode.
a good joke. No, I still got some stuff to say.
All right.
We
Because
skipped
Florida's America's
We
land.
skipped over some stuff. For one thing, there is one joke I did laugh at, chuckle at. I didn't love it.
Okay, I like a chuckle.
They're all looking for work, and Lenny tries to get Foley work at the studios, and
Yeah.
it says no Foley work allowed. Foley is the sound effects department where they.
That was
Right,
going to
right.
be my question. I have no idea what a Foley is.
So Foley is when you're in a room with a microphone and you have all these different things that create the sound effects that are in movies.
When
So-
you did the tacked on noise, that was Foley work.
So, like in Jurassic Park, the scene where the baby raptor breaks out of the egg and comes out of the egg, there was a woman in a Foley studio with a cantaloupe, just putting the cantaloupe up to the mic and putting a hand in the cantaloupe and making squishing sounds, and that's the sound of the egg.
Is it
Why are they
weird?
called
I
Foleys?
find that strangely erotic.
It was because it was invented by
gonna ignore
Matt
that, Dan.
Foley. Matt Foley invented the entire genre.
in a van
living in
down
a
by
van
the
by the
river.
No, it's So that anyway. So Lenny can't get Foley work, and he walks away making very clip-cloppy footsteps, which is
Oh, right, I
famous
remember
because
this.
one of the most famous Foley sound effects you can do
coconut.
is with two pieces of wood making.
Right, like Monty
clap.
Python.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Holy Grail.
Foley has an entirely different meaning to me.
Do, do, do,
medical
do,
term.
do, 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 do.
Is that a medical term?
Yeah, it's a catheter.
I think
I
like
knew it
Axel
was going to have
Foley.
something to do with
Had
pee
to do with
holes.
peep holes.
It's not. It's also V holes as well.
Let's just call this
I meant-
episode the one with all the peep
Well,
holes.
I just want to be clear here. I didn't mean P short for penis. I meant PEE. It's
Right.
the
Oh.
hole that P comes out.
I understood it was just
I'm
P
ass-
as the letter
I'm
P.
assuming,
P's.
I'm assuming women, when you give them a catheter, it goes in their PEE hole, right?
Yeah, your urethra. Yeah.
We're all just P's and V's here, guys. We're all P's, but there's V's out there.
Well, there's T's. That don't
There's some,
have,
there's some T's. You're right. There are some
And
T's.
H's.
There's H's. We're all just PVTHs in this crazy, crazy
I gave
world.
a girl THPV once. Hi-oh!
Delightful. All right, let's finish this up. What else you
But
got?
speaking of Lenny, so the Foley joke I thought was mildly funny. I didn't like the fact that Lenny apparently is dying.
Oh, yeah, well, he says, what is it? How am I going to pay for my radiation treatments?
Yes, which means he's either got
Which
cancer
our
and he's
doctor
getting,
told us
and he's getting radiation,
getting
for
radiation
cancer,
treatment.
or his treatments for his
Treatment
radiation
for
poisoning.
radiation, which also
Either
means
way,
he's
it's
dying.
not looking good.
No.
No.
We had thought that this episode was the beginning of a 3-part arc where
Yeah,
something paid off. Maybe that's what it is.
One
It's
of
the
our
death of Lenny.
One of our listeners said that there was like a 3-episode arc that this was tied to or started, and we haven't found any evidence of that. So if you know what that was, let
We
us
didn't
know.
look too hard
We
because I
look
didn't
that
want to
hard.
spoil this episode
Yeah.
for myself. But yeah, let us know in the
Let
Reddit if that is something
we should
that
be
happens.
watching
the 2 episodes
yeah,
after
exactly.
this. Yeah. Anybody else? Any other points?
I got nothing.
I got nothing too.
Mike, what's your medical opinion of this episode?
Yeah, it's not going to make it. It's not going to make it.
Time of death,
Calling
15
it.
years ago.
Well, since we have Mike here, I do have. We're going to take some calls actually of people who have medical questions. So hang on one second. Hi there, I've got a question for the doctor.
I'm not answering this question.
Oh no, I guess I'm going to die. Yay! I was hit by a bus and I'm driven by Freet Goldberg. Don't listen to him. He's not a pacifist.
Oh my god.
So you're not going to help me? I thought you took an oath.
You should
I'm dying.
You should do a one-man show at the East Village of just all your voices on a stage. It'll be like Big Lebowski, where it's just me and the dude in the audience watching.
That would be my secret dream.
Dan Mulhall, 1,000 smiles, 1,000 frowns.
I'm in.
That's a good
I'm
title.
into it.
The blurb will be, their characters are fully fleshed out.
I love it. Oh, all right.
And I guess I'll do a one-man show where I just recap books I'm reading and podcasts I'm
Yeah,
listening to.
recap Science Friday for us.
I would love to do a one-man sci-sat.
All right. So in this episode, they were talking about space and radiation.
and my passion project, the Glavinator.
You have a Glavinator too? Is it, patent pending?
Patent granted.
All the years of glavening in my basement for naught.
All right, guys, that is it for the Musk Who Fell to Earth. It was a season 26 episode. Our doctor pronounced it dead on arrival.
Yes.
And it is time now to rank it on our Hippo scale. We are going to be looking at the humor, the integrity, the production values, and the originality, and measuring all of those things from a 0 to 5 scale to see where it ranks in our ranking. So, Jack, could you put 2 minutes on that clock you got? Beep. There you go.
You put your tongue to the top of your mouth.
Yeah, it's like this. It's like
I'm looking.
It's like-
I'm
okay.
literally trying to look inside your mouth.
it's not like a flicking. It's like a
It's like a suction kind of.
yeah. That pop is the suction of. Yep.
Choking on my own rage here.
Jack had a seizure and swallowed his tongue.
I can't do it.
All right. There you go. At least you got that, which is nice. Okay, so here we go. All right, 2 minutes around the clock. So here we go. The humor of this episode, Mike, we'll turn to you. What do you got? 0 to 5. 0 is the worst, 5 being the best.
And 2.5 being
2.5
right
being
in the middle.
right in the middle.
You know, I did laugh a couple times. Like some jokes did hit, but
Yeah.
overall the story wasn't funny. I'd probably give it like a 1.5.
1.5 seems fair. What are you thinking, Jack?
I could go 1.5. I have one tentatively written down. The reason I could, because I didn't laugh at all.
Yeah.
The reason I think maybe that's a little too low is because none of the jokes were offensively bad, like we've seen a lot.
Mm-hmm.
None of the, I wasn't mad at any of the jokes for insulting my intelligence. They
Right.
just were just. Eh.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna keep it 1 for now.
I'm going to say 2. I'm tempted to do 1.5. I don't know. It was not a very funny episode, but I laughed more than you guys did, specifically in the opening. I liked it a lot. And some other things. You turned me off on some of the things I did like and said they could have been better, and
Well,
you're right.
That's why Kevin Little wrote that song about me. Turn me on.
I'm going to do 2. I'm going to do 2 for now.
How's that relate?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
This song was stuck in my head.
I'm going to do 2. Okay, the integrity, 0 to 5. Mike, what do you got? This is kind of like, were the characters themselves? Was this, I don't know. Did this feel good?
I couldn't say if the characters were themselves. I mean, other than, you know,
I don't think Burns was.
Yeah, Burns was a little off. Just the whole episode was a little off.
there's nothing really integral to the character because more based on Elon Musk, and he's just Elon Musk. And
Right. I mean, we definitely gave the Lady Gaga one a low integrity score for the not fan service, guest star service, I guess. I got to dig this episode
we didn't
the
have a
same.
hippo scale when we did that episode.
Oh, you're right. Well, we retroactively did do it at some point. I guess we didn't record
scored
that.
badly.
Yeah.
I'd probably give it a 1.5 again, mainly just because there was no integrity to it, really.
Yeah. Jack, what do you think?
Lacking.
I usually give it 2.5 if nobody's really acting out of character but not doing anything for it. But I do think it should be a little bit lower than that. I mean, Burns wasn't himself. But
it's an episode with problems.
there was no emotional core to the episode. I guess the emotional core was
right.
Homer trying to break up with Musk. God,
Which was a waste.
No,
the
no.
cold, flat performance by Elon Musk was probably the most emotional.
You're probably right.
You know, the best performance in the thing.
So for just that, I'm going to give it a 1.5.
I'm gonna give it a 2.
All right. The production values. Mike, looking at you.
It didn't have anything real. This is more towards animation and things
This
like
is
that.
animation,
Animation, voice
sound.
acting.
Yeah.
You know, animation-wise, I dig. It's the newer Simpsons. I think when Jack touched on it, I do like that kind of animation style where it's a little bit more Looney Tunes-ish,
Yeah.
cartoonish.
I'll say this: we've been watching a lot of older episodes recently. Watching this one, seeing the HD, I thought it looked really, really good, and I think it was well directed. It was just not all there.
I mean, I feel like
I'm high on production.
You know,
I
like I like to give.
I don't
my
like the song, though.
I like
No, song's great.
that's true. I like to give points in production for big set pieces and stuff.
Yeah.
And for having Elon Musk here, I feel like there should have been bigger set pieces. Like we go to space.
We do go to space.
We see the moon, and none of that wowed me in any
Right.
way.
We like the
No.
design of the self-driving car. That's something.
Well, no, I like the design of the real.
real
self-driving
Real
car.
car, that's real life. Yeah, I think I'm
guess.
500 Tesla in real life.
All right.
Yeah, no, nothing really. I mean, I'm gonna take away points for the Channel 6 news graphic that went nowhere.
Yeah.
The only thing that really was animated was one Homer's eye popping out, and then like the skeletons of like the little birds.
I liked both of those things, so I'm going high. I'm going to say 3.5.
Let's say 2. I could go 1.5.
I think I'm just going to 2.5.
Okay, right down the middle. And finally, the originality. Mike, what do you think?
I mean, they didn't borrow from many other episodes in terms of...
No.
This is a totally standalone episode. It didn't, it's never really happened before where, Homer does this.
We've never had Elon Musk come visit The Simpsons. So in that sense, it's original.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make any damn sense.
Nope.
So we're going to ding in a lot of points for that.
Yeah, I mean, structure is a big part of the originality score, and this had none.
None.
This was really poor storytelling. Really, really poor storytelling. Even the ego non sequitur didn't tie in it anyway.
It's not the worst storytelling we've seen, for sure.
I would say it's down there.
You really?
I'd say this is one of the least focused episodes we've ever covered.
It's
least
jumbled.
focused, yes, but we've had episodes that are much more scattered.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think least focused and scattered roughly mean the same thing.
No, they don't. I'm gonna give it a 1. I'll say that. I don't know. Maybe that's what you're thinking. It sounds like you're going lower than 1.
No, I would. I mean,
okay.
The idea is somewhat original, I guess.
I would just give it 1.5. I mean, if
1.5, really?
The storytelling wasn't there whatsoever, but the idea was something that was newer and hadn't really been done before.
Right.
So, for the concept of it, trying to get an original idea out of it, they did that.
Yes.
They just couldn't craft a story around it.
I think there's a better episode in this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where I give it the 1.5.
Yeah. I think that's good.
I'll give it a 1.
I'm giving it a 1 too.
You're giving it a 1-2?
A 1-2
The old
punch.
1-2.
The old 23 skidoo.
Nothing in that. This is anything.
Okay, so we have crunched our numbers, and Season 26's The Musk Who Fell to Earth has ranked as a slightly better episode than What to Expect When Bart's Expecting, and a slightly worse episode than Pennywise Guys. Those are very, very old episodes for us. That puts it at number 23 on our current ranking. Pretty low.
So this is better than the episode where Bart gets his pregnant teacher via voodoo.
Yes, yep, that's exactly right.
Fair
but
enough.
slightly worse than one that's completely about Steve Carell and not about The Simpsons. So thank you, Mike, for being our guest today.
Thank you for having me.
If people want to follow you are you on Twitter?
I'm
You're
not
on Twitter.
No, I don't do Twitter.
He's
Okay,
too
if
busy
people want
saving
you-
people's lives to be dicking around on the internet.
They can go to the hospital and you will help them. So that's it. Do you have anything you want to plug?
Not really.
You want to tell people to wear helmets or get checked for STDs? I don't know. I don't know what you do. Gotta wear your helmet in the car so you don't die. I don't know. Don't you wear a helmet in the car like the Dolphin, the Miami Dolphins?
You've been living in Brooklyn too long. You
Do
want to
you
in the
want
car.
to give a shout out to your favorite sports team? What's baseball's getting? You give a shout out. Do you have a new Yankee you're a fan of?
Well, Starlin Castro is amazing right
There you
now.
go.
He's
So-
pretty hot.
There you go.
So you can check out Sterling Castro on Twitter.
On the Yankees.
Follow Starlin Castro. He's doing well.
If you have an episode that you would like to suggest, you can do that on our website. It's wepodcast.com, wepodcast.com. We have a form. You can fill it out, and that's good stuff. That helps us out. Just use the form. A lot of people have been tweeting at us lately. Use the form, because I'm not keeping track of the tweet suggestions. But if you do want to tweet at us, we're at Worst Episode Pod. I'm at Dan Says personally.
I'm at Jackie No Breaks.
And you can get to our Reddit, our Facebook page, all that fun stuff on the website, wepodcast.com. If you're in the Brooklyn area, you just missed Simpsons Trivia, but it's first Thursday of every month.
It wasn't that great.
Berry
You
Park.
didn't miss much.
Cut that out.
The hosts are not great.
Yeah, they've really gone down in quality, much like
There's
Simpsons
one host in
episodes.
particular. He keeps plugging his podcast. It's quite annoying.
Yeah,
That's true.
does all these voices that really just don't go anywhere.
Yeah, can you do an entire trivia night as Freet Goldberg? Let's see how it plays live.
I'll do Tweaky the Twist.
Freet has a last name?
Freet Goldberg. You gotta catch up,
you're
Mike.
a couple episodes
Oh,
behind.
because you
right?
didn't listen to Last Exit to Springfield.
No, I didn't.
And you didn't
should.
listen to our 3-hour extended cut.
You know, I really don't have the time.
Yeah, most people don't.
You spent 3 hours with us in person. You get the gist.
If you guys want more from us, you can also listen to our other podcast. It's 90s Percentile. That comes out every Monday. We just had a new episode come out. That was, I'm assuming, great. We haven't recorded it yet.
I'm assuming
there
there was about 5 minutes about the 1990s somewhere in there.
Yeah. We've said Amazon. Click that Amazon link. Oh, we didn't say what we're doing next week.
No,
What are
we
we
should-
doing next week?
I don't know.
Next week, we're going to do an episode from season 16 that is called On a Clear Day, I Can See My Sister.
Oh,
So I don't know what the hell that is,
I don't
but a
know.
lot of people suggested
On a
it. So we're
clear
gonna do
day,
it.
I could see us not liking it.
I think you might be right. Jackie boy, you might be right.
Oh, boy.
All right, Mike, you're a fan of the show. How do we always end?
Cut all this.
Were you a good actor, or was that genuine disgust?
It's partly genuine disgust.
Sorry.
Do you know my favorite part of the planet? Gravity.
There are no trapdoors on this podium, Bones. You just started the PowerPoint presentation.